Hey guys, welcome back to What the Fat. Today we have a really cool episode, something that's going to be a recap of an event that I was at this weekend that hopefully many of you were at, or if you didn't get a chance to make it there, hopefully I can fill you in a little bit with what transpired or what went on during this incredible weekend at the Metabolic Health Summit. So for those of you who don't know, this past weekend was the Metabolic Health Summit. It was in LA, or Long Beach, actually, but it was an incredible, incredible event. So first, I want to start off with a huge thank you to Victoria Field and Angela Poff and Dom D'Agostino, the three people who really put on this event. It seemed amazing, amazing. And I was excited before I got there, but even leaving there, I'm even more fired up because of the environment and the electricity of what transpired at that event was just amazing. And I'm excited because I think a lot of people have a lot of takeaways from that event, and they're going to go out and share it with the world and kind of help someone else live their better life for whatever they're trying to accomplish. So really, really amazing weekend. So I want to kind of just jump through the agenda because I don't think people understand the impact or the power of the people that were there and some of the takeaways that I took from the event as well. So on the first day, Thursday, there was a keynote lecture by David Ludwig, Dr. David Ludwig, and it was entitled, "Which Comes First, Overeating or Obesity?" And he did a phenomenal job breaking down a study in which he looked at a low carbohydrate versus a low fat diet and matched for protein intake. And in this study, he actually saw that there was an increase in energy expenditure in the low carbohydrate group. And there's another study that's out there that's counterintuitive or contradictory to his study, and he breaks that study down and talks about some of the criticisms he faced for his study and just addresses them right off the bat, which was incredible because a lot of times scientists will just show their point of view, but he wanted to bring in some of the criticisms that he was getting and explain his rationale for why he was seeing the results that he was. So huge, huge kudos to Dr. David Ludwig for that presentation and for the work that he's doing on overeating and obesity. And then at nighttime was a book signing, which was amazing. Had a bunch of people that Lauren, Fit DJ, was playing music, and people were coming around grabbing books and asking them to get signed. And one of the things that we did is we actually raised money for the Charlie Foundation. So one of the things that Jacob and I did is we bought the books ourselves and then had people make a donation to the Charlie Foundation because that organization itself is so amazing, and we just wanted to use it as an opportunity to give back and help people get their hands on the ketogenic Bible, but also go to a good cause for the Charlie Foundation. So that was really cool. For me, that felt great being able to raise money for them, and I think we raised over $200 or $300 for them, which is amazing. So I'm super, super excited about that. Then the next day on Friday was a packed day full of speakers. In the morning, you had Dr. Stephen Cunnane, who talked about ketones and brain energy rescue during aging, implication for treating Alzheimer's disease. And he has some fascinating data, specifically with MCTs, like taking upwards of 30 grams of MCTs per day actually seems to improve cognitive capabilities in people who are older. So you might have seen Dr. Mary Newport's TED Talk where she gave her husband coconut oil. Well, Dr. Stephen Cunnane is actually doing work right now with MCTs and finding like a C8, C10 blend increases cognitive function in aging individuals and increases ketone levels. One of the other things he talks about is actually exercise itself can increase uptake of ketones, which is really interesting. It's one of the reasons why I tell people you don't have to work out, you don't have to exercise on a ketogenic diet. It depends on where you're coming from or what your starting point is. But even just going for a 15-minute walk, a 20-minute walk can significantly help by hopefully increasing the uptake of those ketones themselves. So then following him, Dr. Zhang Ro, brilliant, brilliant researcher, brilliant scientist, talking about the ketogenic diet for autism spectrum disorder and really breaking down what autism spectrum disorder is and really talking about the entire spectrum itself and how a ketogenic diet may lend itself to be beneficial or useful for people with autism or families that have children dealing with autism. So really, really amazing presentation. And then Dr. Georgia Eid, she's always great. She talked about understanding brain food. Um, then we kind of took a break, had lunch, had a great lunch with my friend Josh Perry and Miles, and just chatted about kind of their journey. Both of them have been brain tumor survivors. Miles, his story is absolutely amazing. I actually want to get him on the podcast. And his mother was there as well, and she's a sweetheart and amazing as well. But Miles has been on a ketogenic diet, I believe, for like 6 or 8 months. And he used to have upwards of 5 to sometimes 8 seizures a day. And every doctor he went to said, there's nothing you can really do, nothing you can really change nutritionally. And then he met Josh Perry, who you guys have heard of already on the podcast, great friend of mine, and started working with him. And over the last month, he has not had one seizure. Knock on wood. Amazing, amazing, amazing story. So I'm definitely going to get him on the podcast sometime. And then we went back to the lecture hall. In the afternoon, you had Dr. Sheck, who's a brilliant scientist and a great friend. She's talking about the ketogenic diet as a therapy for malignant brain cancer beyond glucose reduction. She's actually talking about ketones themselves. She has a lot of cell culture work looking at ketones themselves, having an anti-cancer effect, which is really, really amazing. Then the powerful Thomas Seyfried. And guys, when this guy lectures or when this guy gives a presentation, you can hear a pin drop in the audience because everyone is so intent and focused on what he's saying because he's so powerful, so passionate about what he's saying, and it's absolutely amazing. And his talk was entitled The Metabolic Management of Glioblastoma. And if you haven't yet, you have to invest and check out his book, Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. Some of the work that he's doing, if you want to look more into his papers, is astounding. And he is very, very big on looking at mitochondrial dysfunction being the root or major contributor for cancer growth and development. So amazing in presentation and someone I highly recommend checking out all of his work. Then the amazing Dr. Angela Poff. You guys know Dr. Poff is a great friend of ours, and she just presented on all of the basics, but also evaluating novel methods for exploiting cancer metabolism. Everything from hyperbaric oxygen therapy, the work that she's done with hyperbaric oxygen therapy, to even exogenous ketone supplementation for some of the work that she did in her animal models, which was amazing as well. Then later on the day, Matt and Mega from Keto Connect, two awesome people, got a chance to chat with them for a little bit, did a little cooking demo and made this little granola, which was amazing. And then there was a reception, but most of us actually headed to an amazing, amazing party by the group from Redmond's Real Salt. And I hadn't known them very, very much. I just talked to them on Instagram. And I was super excited because a lot of my friends were going to be there, and I said, you know what, let's show up. So they rented this huge house, and they basically had this food catered in, and they had a chef there to kind of like teach us how to cook our own little food. But the environment itself was amazing. Like the people that were there, everyone from Drew Manning to Jane Downs to Liz Williams, Suzanne, Keto Karma, Sean Wells, Yemeni Mesa, like everyone was there. And it was just an absolute amazing environment. Got a chance to connect, drank some dry farm wine, and it was just a great, great night. Great food, great people, great entertainment. And so that was a real, real great experience to be able to have that time with those people, connect with them on a deeper level, but also be able to enjoy a nice meal. And, of course, you know how I feel about wine. Then we kind of woke up on Saturday. Jacob arrived Saturday morning, so we were working on our presentation for most of the morning. If you guys know anything about us, we always wait till the last minute to work on our presentation. But we worked on our presentation, and then we went and saw our friend David Diamond. And David Diamond is a phenomenal researcher, and he talks often about the impact, and his actual presentation was, does the elevation of LDL cholesterol with a low carbohydrate diet increase the risk of cardiovascular disease? And this guy's brilliant, and fortunately he's local in Tampa and is a good friend of ours, but absolutely brilliant when it comes to cholesterol and breaking down the cholesterol myths. He even goes as far as, and I'll just give you guys a little insight. If you haven't seen any of his YouTube videos, you need to go check him out, or any of his presentations, and you're concerned about LDL cholesterol. There's actually data showing correlations between people with higher amounts of LDL cholesterol and people who live longer. So this concept of low LDL and, oh, you need to lower your LDL may not be as true as most people think it is. The other thing he breaks down is Lipitor. So statins. He goes off on statins and has numerous papers on this very topic. And he breaks down the Lipitor study, where he literally breaks down the numbers and shows you how they've ultimately manipulated the data to show this wide increase in improvement, when in reality it's 1%. The difference between people taking Lipitor and taking a placebo for lowering total cholesterol is 1%. Even though the ads might say something different, the actual data is 1% difference. So that was an incredible presentation, and people love it because it's mind-blowing, it's practical, and the statin industry is just running rampant right now. So he was able to break that down and give a little insight for people. Then in the afternoon, stellar lineup, a bunch of biohackers. You literally had Aubrey Marcus from On It, and his talk was super motivational. No slides. He was just talking from the heart, literally about becoming fit for service. And he was telling his story. He talked a little bit about his accident, his car crash that he was recently in, and kind of how that made him be more than ever present in the present moment. And I love that because you guys know I have that bracelet, Be Here Now. Eventually I'm going to get it as a tattoo. I just got to do it. But I'm so hyper-focused on being present in the moment, and I constantly remind myself of be here now, like being in the moment. And he talked about how prevalent that is in his life now more than ever because of what he went through, and even just feeling the kiss of his fiance, or being able to work out and enjoying the sweat that's going down his face. Those were all things that we take for granted, but when something tragic happens, you realize how amazing those feelings are in the grand scheme of things. So really, really cool presentation, and he's a really good dude. Mark Sisson gave a talk about achieving metabolic flexibility. Then you had Dr. Dom D'Agostino, talking about strategies for optimizing safety, performance, and resilience in extreme environments, talking all about the work that he's been doing with Navy SEAL divers. Pretty incredible. Then Rob Wolf talked about metabolic flexibility, the Rosetta Stone of the macronutrient wars. And it's funny because I had a good conversation. I was eating breakfast with Rob earlier in the day, and he was like, listen, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are pissed off because early on in the presentation I'm going to talk about like how carbs are essential, but then he like weans back and talks about like, oh no, here's why I recommend a low carbohydrate approach, and ultimately how you need to tailor your needs. And one of the things that I love about Rob is he, even in his book, he talks about this. Everyone responds differently. So what works for him might not work for someone else. And he eats a low carbohydrate approach, but like someone else might be able to fit in sweet potatoes into their diet while he can't, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So I love how he really, really tells people and encourages people to do their own testing, be their own science experiment, and see what works for you. And then your body's going to be different from everyone else's, and adapt to that. And make sure your nutrition kind of coincides with whatever you're responding to best. And then later on in the day, Jen Fish, a really good friend of mine, Keto in the City, did a cooking demo, which was amazing. And then from 5 to 7 at night, there was this VIP mixer, which was awesome. Everyone got dressed up, and there was like ketone cocktails and all these like low-carb drinks, which was really cool, made with like low-calorie sweeteners. Like things like allulose and erythritol and stuff like that. So pretty cool. And then we all went up to the Gala. And I want to talk a little bit about this Gala because it had a really big impact on me. The Gala started off with a very, very impactful story and video about the Charlie Foundation. And the amazing part about it was Jim and I believe her name's Nancy Abrams, along with Charlie himself, were there. like really, really amazing. And Jim gave an amazing speech all about why he started the Charlie Foundation and really what their goal is moving forward. And they're such an incredible organization, really trying to spread awareness, particularly in the epilepsy, but even beyond that now with what they're doing and helping train dietitians and hospitals about the ketogenic diet and how to properly implement it with their patients. It's just incredible, incredible. And then right after that was a presentation by Max Love Project. And Audra and her entire family and little Max were there. And it was just amazing seeing her tell their story and watching their video of everything that Max went through with cancer and how he's overcome it and how they're still battling to this day and how she's helped many more families kind of get through that battle as well and power through it. And it was just incredible, incredible. I was tearing up just watching their videos just because that's the shit that matters, right? And I kind of gave this point in my presentation when we were talking during our talk on Sunday. I said, listen, I don't care who's saying what about the ketogenic diet. I don't care who's saying what about ketosis. But the minute Jim Abrams or the minute Audra and the Max Love Project have to start focusing on JM or these people that are talking about like, oh, the ketogenic diet's going to kill you or oh, it's deficient in micronutrients. The minute they have to focus on that is the minute they're not pushing forward and they're not helping other people. It's one of the reasons why I'm so focused on offense rather than defense. And it just got me so fired up and passionate watching them tell their story. Because that's what matters, right? Like them going out and actually making a change versus people on social media just talking about it. That's what fucking matters. So I'm so fired up about that, and I appreciate them sharing their stories and what they're doing because their impact is far-reaching and spreading to people beyond what I even think they even know about. So amazing, amazing job having them there. And then Josh Perry. You guys know how I feel about this guy already. He's a stud. He's an amazing guy, amazing friend, amazing colleague. And he goes out and gives a speech. And one of the things that was extremely humbling and amazing for me to hear is he talked about how if I never answered his DM, he doesn't think he'd be here or he'd be in this situation. And it made me think back to it. And I remember it very, very vividly. He reached out on a DM, and I actually sent him a video response because I was at the airport. And typically when I'm at the airport, like I just don't like typing, so I'll usually just shoot someone back a video response. I shot him back a video response, and he was pumped up about it. He's like, man, this was so cool. I got this video response from Ryan, and then we just kind of stayed in contact. And I've just been doing everything I can to try and help him. And to see him here at this event and then to give us talk about his story being a brain cancer survivor and what he's experienced and the success he's had in the BMX world and how he's kind of carrying that out now to helping spread this mission. Just truly, truly incredible. And then Josh and All Wheel Sports did like a performance for us. And that was sick, man. They were literally like inside of this building on this ramp. They're doing backflips and I think it's called like a 720 or something. And there was someone on rollerblades. There was a guy on a scooter, and then there was Josh on his bike. But they were doing all kinds of incredible tricks, and it was just amazing. It was really cool entertainment watching them, seeing what they're doing. But truly, truly just a great, great event and great, great night to see all of that kind of come together. And the event actually raised money for the Charlie Foundation and the Max Love Project, which was even more incredible. Seeing how many people showed up, how many people participated, and how much money was raised for them. Then the dinner was incredible. Of course, it's a keto menu, so it was wedge salad, I believe, some beef, chicken, and Brussels sprouts, and then they had like this dessert, this chocolate mousse sort of thing that was really good, really, really, really good. And then after that, I went back upstairs because I wasn't feeling good. At that time, that's probably when I knew, like, I think I caught a bug at the time. And then I felt horrible. I literally didn't sleep at all Saturday night. I was throwing up all night. I was super sick, but I didn't want anyone to know that because we had to present at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I literally got up, finished our presentation at like 6 or 6:30. I went over it with Doc. We practiced for a little bit, and then we went and watched Jeff Volek from 8:30 to 9 on Sunday morning, where he talked about keto adaptation, implications of human performance, and he's doing some incredible work with his tank athletes, which is like ROTC, where basically he's taking these people and putting them on a ketogenic diet, feeding them and looking at performance, and seeing some incredible results. He also talked a little bit about his data with glycogen stores, where he actually found with people who are adapted on a well-formulated ketogenic diet, they're able to not only deplete but replenish glycogen stores to the same degree as people who are eating a high carbohydrate diet, which is really, really amazing. And then I felt horrible. So Doc and I felt like, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go up and give this presentation with Doc, like all I had in my mind was like the Michael Jordan flu game, like when Michael Jordan had the flu and he went out on the court and like they just carried him off. I told Doc, I said, dude, you might have to carry me off after this presentation because I feel like garbage. And I was literally throwing up all morning and felt terrible. I had a pounding headache. And so we went up on stage, and I was pounding water and salt the entire time on stage. But I think the presentation went well. Very, very receptive. People enjoyed the data, enjoyed what we talked about. We presented data on increasing muscle mass, and we even touched on some brand new data with a targeted ketogenic diet with our good friend Jordan Joy, who I'll have on the podcast sometime soon. But also touching into longevity and some of the aspects of longevity that we're really interested in. And then after our presentation, Drew Manning, amazing friend, gave, and I'm going to have him on as well, gave a good talk about his journey, the Fit to Fat to Fit journey, and everything that he went through emotionally, primarily, and mentally throughout that entire time. And just really, really resonated with a lot of people in there who have been through similar experiences or are fighting to really go and trying to be fat to fit, and his struggles really resonate with a lot of people. And then I sat on the panel with Dr. Volek and Drew, and we answered questions for an hour straight. That was tough. I was trying to focus on not throwing up during the entire time, but it was good. We were answering a bunch of people's questions and trying to provide as much value as humanly possible. But immediately after that, I literally changed my flight, got on a flight really quick with the team, and was able to make it home by 9 o'clock that night. I was originally scheduled to fly out on a red eye, but made it home by 9 and just still recovering a little bit, but definitely felt way better and caught up a little bit on sleep. But overall, I missed the afternoon on Sunday, which had Dr. Westman, Sarah Hallberg, even Suzanne Ryan, my really good friend, Keto Karma. But I watched people's stories, and she crushed it as always, as I would expect. But guys, I just wanted to tell you that, or recap the entire event, to show you the impact of some of these conferences. And not all conferences are going to be the same. I promise you that. But this conference was absolutely incredible from both a scientific standpoint, but honestly, even though some of the magic happened inside of the lecture hall, most of the magic happened outside of it. And what I mean by that is people connecting, people talking, meeting with vendors, and just chatting with people that you know on social media and go, oh, yeah, I remember you. Or, oh, it's great to finally meet you in person. Like, that's magical. That's the stuff that matters. And that's really where the magic moments transpired, is really outside of that and making deep, intimate connections with people and really trying to carry forward this mission together, which is ultimately what we all want to do. So I hope for those of you that made it, I hope that was a good summary and for those of you who didn't make it, I hope you got a little bit of understanding of what transpired at the event and what happened. But this goes to show you, if you do have the opportunity to take advantage of an event, definitely try and go there, because beyond just finding out and the research and information from the lecture, it's about networking. It's about getting to know people, getting to show your face, to introduce yourself in person, And ultimately, that's what's going to make an impact long term. It's about building those long-lasting relationships. I feel like the Metabolic Health Summit was perfect for doing that, and I'm super, super excited for next year and looking forward to many upcoming conferences this year where I know the environment will be just as electric and people are going to show up and play full out. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you know the deal. Make positivity louder. Love each and every one of you. We'll talk to you soon.